Okay, so let me first apologize for the recording level of the last Mandela Effect episode because I accidentally had my voice recorder recording at its low setting instead of at its high setting. I am currently recording at its high setting while it sits on my receiver in my bedroom, so there's no microphone. Honestly, I don't know where my headphones are, and I said I would record every day, daily, and it is 11:53 on 1/13/22. So, in my defense, I didn't get off work until 11:04. Didn't get home till 11:10. So I've only been home for 45 minutes, and in those 45 minutes, I have counteracted the stress of the work day that went haywire. So I do believe I'm in a balanced and tranquil enough mood to attack the topic I was going to discuss today. So, first, the Mandela Effect episode is almost unlistenable. I'm aware of that. I even tried to record myself at the higher settings while listening to the low setting version in my left ear. I was trying to speak into a microphone that would let me just basically duplicate it at better settings. That does not work out. If you have ever tried to do something like that, that is difficult. I have a lot of respect for people who can do it. And since it all sounded phony, and since I started wandering into places that I wasn't even talking about in the original recording, the only thing I can do is say I've certainly learned my lesson. I will not make that mistake again, as I will double check to make sure I'm recording at the best level possible. I will also be pursuing better recording equipment, which I might even have on hand. I just haven't tested everything I own that can record, so that could happen anytime. And third, the Mandela Effect episode is an episode that I would imagine you either want to listen to or you don't. And if you don't, well then you've got a better reason to turn it off than any of the others, since I mistakenly recorded at a low tone. And if you do want to listen to it, well, it is listenable. And I know there might be some parts in there that make you want to question my ability to speak into a microphone and record my own voice. That's legit. But trying to duplicate it or in some other way recreate it just isn't what I'm about. So I apologize for making that one terrible, at least audio quality wise. Content wise, it's not an A plus, but it's not a D. So with those loose assignments of value, I can always do better, and I'm always trying to do so. And it's funny because I'm liking Charlie at work more and more, and for good reasons. Like, he just has first of all, he has a settled nature to him, which I never had. So I do enjoy seeing someone who is willing to allow, for instance, silences to accumulate. I do not need someone to chitter at me, even though that's the way I live in life. Because I think sometimes when people do that, they're trying to match my energy, and I know my energy is overwhelming. If anything, I'm always trying to tone it down, especially in public, and especially at work. So when somebody can sit for a good 3-4 minutes, literally, without needing to speak and fill silence with stuff like, if the Broncos don't find a better quarterback, I don't even know if I want to watch them next year. Because literally, what is that really giving the universe? It's giving you a steam release valve on your nervousness, because having to think inwardly for that long inevitably leads to, well, I'm having all these thoughts. I wonder what that guy's thinking about. I mean, he hasn't said anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't help but become unsure of yourself if you're not sure of yourself when those silences are available. And so to me, the fact that he's comfortable enough to endure 3 to 4 minutes of just contemplation says a lot. I would never have had the the steady and I would have been too afraid that somebody was thinking things about me. I don't know how to put that into words, but I'd inevitably circled around to, well, if somebody's being this quiet for this long, they must have something they don't want to say to me because they're trying to figure out how to say it, because that's the only reason I'd be quiet this long, or whatever. I just talk myself into some nonsense. That wasn't true. That was just my insecurities manifesting in a mind full of possibilities to think the worst, the best, and anything in between. So to watch somebody young be so contemplative, which is really the word, it's encouraging. And in respect for his contemplative nature, I revealed to him today my one little secret weapon that I think can change the world. And his response was simple. And it was exactly what it should have been. And the way I think I can reframe the world is simple. We always ask people, how you been? How you doing? How's it going? What you been up to? How are things? Whatever, right? Those are the phrases we use. And we're always asking people to help, share where you're at right now. How are things? What can we do? How can we interact in a way that meets your energy or whatever, right? I guess. But what it ends up doing is it forces us to constantly live in an evaluation of what we just did, what we've been through, what we've endured, what we've experienced that can't be changed. How are you doing? Is as close to a question that escapes that as you can get without going to the step that I think we need to take. Questions like, how have you been? What you've been up to? How are things going? What's the weather like in your neighborhood? All that crap is basically give me a quick list of what you have just experienced and how it's affected you. In theory. At least that's how I read it. But what if the question was, how are you going to be? Instead of asking questions about evaluating things that have already happened that there is no chance of anything happening differently, why not ask, how are you going to be? How are you leaving me? How's your next step feeling? What's the next round looking like for you? Instead of having people constantly living in their past, why not have them live with the very next moment they're going to have? How are you going to be? I'm going to be great. Perfect. Then I will say goodbye. How are you going to be? Frankly, I'm going to be nervous. Can I help? Is there anything you need? Do you want to practice your speech before you give it tomorrow? Do you want me to call 30 of my friends, loosely associate them with cat calls and whistles so that no matter what you go through tomorrow, it will be better than anything you experienced in your practice round? I mean, how are you going to be? And so I told him this, and he just kind of looked at me and he said, huh, just basically reframing it, right? I said, exactly. It just asked the question forward instead of backward. He's like, yeah, I think that's good. I like that. I like it. And then he left it alone, walked away. And yet, when I bring it up to him in a week, which I'll give him a week to think about it, I think he'll have considered it in a way that is meaningful. And if he hasn't, that's not a big deal. I don't care. But he's the first person I'm testing my theory that we are just in a position of looking at things wrong that makes us feel beaten up. And a simple question like, how are you going to be? How are you leaving? How's tomorrow look? Whatever. How can I help with something I can actually help with? Not how have you been? Not let's figure out what's wrong with you that caused all these issues that got you to this place. How are you going to be? You going to be gangbusters? Awesome. Then I'll just sit back and give you a standing ovation when you're done. You're going to be full of nervous energy because you're going into something that is of great importance to you. Well, I'll happily save a good joke for 5 minutes before you go on stage so that you can have a genuine laugh to calm down in the moment. Whatever. How can I help in a way I can help? Not how can I get you to live better with that which you've already done. It's just simple. We don't have to reframe the world to change it. We just have to believe that simple things done for the better of all of us will lead to a world that makes us all feel important, valued, and a world that makes us all feel worth living in.